watching Eye on Ocean County. I'm Christina Seco. 4,700. That's how many New Jersey residents need your help as they wait for a life-saving transplant. And nationwide, there's more than 110,000 people on the list. What's even more alarming, the shortage of donors is so severe that every day 18 people die nationwide waiting for organs that could have saved their lives. Joining me now to discuss more is Carolyn Welsh, the Assistant Director of Hospital Services and Education at the New Jersey Organ and Tissue Sharing Network. Carolyn, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Those are huge, huge numbers. I mean, 4,700 right here in New Jersey alone. Yeah. That's alarming. And 18 people die each day. I mean, when you bring those numbers and you say them out loud, I mean, it really makes you think.
It does. And how important that one person's decision to say yes to donation can help so many people.
I mean, nationwide, so it's 110,000 nationwide. And how many organ donors sign up each month to become an organ donor? I mean, how many people are really saying, like, hey, I can do this?
In New Jersey, approximately 30% of the registered drivers sign up at the motor vehicle agencies to be an organ donor and tissue donor. So our goal nationally is to make that 50% so that more people say yes, so that more people's lives are saved through transplant.
Talk to us a little bit about what the New Jersey Organ and Tissue Donor Network does. Like, what do you guys do, and how do you, I mean, obviously the goal is to save lives, but I think more people are familiar with organ donation rather than tissue donation. So can you talk to us about that?
Sure. The Sharing Network is a private, nonprofit organization. It's an organ procurement organization, and we have designated service areas that we cover, which we cover the 14 northern counties in New Jersey to help those people that are waiting for transplant. And for tissue donation, you were saying, is different. People always know about organ, but tissue donation, for someone to say yes at the time of their death, to be able to be a tissue donor, can save and restore health and function to over 50 people with one donation. So that also has such a huge impact, and the Sharing Network arranges for the recovery of all organs and tissue for transplantation.
Now, in 2010, 155 individuals donated, and you said that number can save 537 lives?
Yes.
How wonderful is that?
Yes. One organ donor can save up to 8 lives. Heart, lungs, kidneys, liver, and pancreas. And tissue can be bone, skin, heart valves, and corneas, which can save so many people and restore their function every day. You know, for all of us, you know, we walk around and we can function, but for people that are in need of a tissue transplant and an organ transplant, their life is dramatically different and changed every day.
Wow, that's really amazing, like how, you know, one transplant can really save the lives of so many others. Let's talk about some of the myths that people
Sure.
Are under, because I know, I mean, I'm guilty of, you know, believing this at one time until I met my husband, but, you know, people say doctors may not work as hard if it's aware that they're an organ donor. I mean, is that something that you hear a lot?
Yes, you're not alone. There's many people that think that, and the very good thing is that the Sharing Network is a separate organization. We work with the hospitals, but we don't get notified until the person's time of death, and it's separate from the hospital. We work together, but it's a separate organization that plans and coordinates the recovery of the organs and tissue.
Another myth people say, if you're a donor, that your family will be responsible for more medical bills. I mean, is that true? Myth or fact?
It's myth. There's no cost related to donation. After death, that's all taken care of through the Sharing Network and through the federal funding that's for organ and tissue donation services.
Another one I've heard, you know, people say, well, if I'm an organ donor, then at my funeral I can't have an open casket. I'm going to have a closed casket. Is that true?
No, you don't have to have a closed casket. We speak to families about any specific arrangements that they would have so that we can meet the needs of the family. You know, what would the burial outfit be, so that there is no change in funeral arrangements, and we coordinate with the funeral homes. If the person, you know, chooses and the family chooses to say yes to donation, we coordinate with them on time and arrangements, and there should be no changes to their arrangements for their funeral and open casket.
Okay. Now, if someone chooses to become an organ donor, I mean, is it safe? I mean, I know we all have 2 kidneys, and I mean, I've read that the second kidney really is just for a backup. But is that true? I mean, do we need both kidneys? I mean, is it safe to be an organ donor?
Yes, for living donation, Yes, you can. Everyone can donate one kidney. There's an evaluation process that's done, and you could go to the transplant centers and they evaluate you physically to see if it is safe for you. Disease process and actually why you're giving. You know, are you giving to a family member, or are you just an altruistic donor that's coming and wanting to save someone else's life? It's pretty amazing how that works. And in New Jersey, we also participate in the paired exchange. You may have seen that throughout the news and in the newspaper, that one person can start a chain, so that if you and I were related and I was getting tested to give you a kidney and I didn't match you, but there was another person on the list and their family member didn't match, but I matched them and their family member matched you. That's what the paired exchange does. So you're saving two people's lives. And if an altruistic donor comes in, if they're into the paired exchange program, it can really set off a chain that's pretty amazing.
It is amazing. I really think it takes a special person to become an organ donor, and to really, especially to a stranger. I think it's a lot easier to say, hey, I'd like to help my sister or my brother. But to help a stranger, I think it really takes a remarkable person. What defines a healthy person to really to say that I'm eligible to be an organ donor? I mean, I may want to, but I may not be able to.
Yeah, many people say that. I mean, it's funny when you say, because my mom I've been working for the Sharing Network for 13 years, and my mom would still say, oh, you know, I am a diabetic, I can't be an organ donor. And that's not true. Depending on the need and the person who's actually waiting on that list, the evaluation is done, the Sharing Network determines suitability, and there's testing done for the safety of the recipient as well. So we really say that the best decision you can make is to sign your driver's license and make that determination and share that decision with your family. And that's the best decision that you can make, so that in the time of, you know, unfortunately, if you die, that's the decision that you can make ahead of time. But that the medical suitability is really determined at the time of the person's death, not making them not sign up ahead of time.
Now, another fact that I was looking online, I saw that 37% of New Jersey's waiting on the list are African American residents.
Yes.
Why is that?
But for their disease process, that's really why. Some hypertension, diabetes, and the majority of the list is for kidney. That's what kidney transplant. That's what people are waiting for. That 110,000. The majority is kidney.
And I also found that 17% of African Americans are only signed up to be organ donors. So it's a really small number. Is that an audience that you're targeting?
Yes, we do. We really do try to target education to different areas in New Jersey that maybe the trust is not there. Who will get the organ if I say yes? How does that work? And it really goes to how the allocation system is fair and how the organ is distributed to the patient that's in the most need. Okay,
and I know that here in Ocean County, only 31.75% of residents are registered to become organ donors. And the national goal is to reach 50%. I think that's by 2014. Is that what it is?
Yes.
How do you plan to reach out to more people?
We actually have been targeting in New Jersey. The HERO Act was passed, and high schools now have education, and it's called the High School Heroes Program. So we're targeting that audience as well, so that they can determine what they would like, you know, to make that decision when they get their driver's license. We also have college outreach programs. We do a lot of education in the hospitals for the medical staff at the hospital, because we really need to target all areas in the community. And House of Worship, there's a lot of different programs that we offer, and are willing to go wherever we can to get the word out about how important this is.
I think you guys have your job, you know, handed to you, because New Jersey's only 41 out of the 50 states that, you know, so you have a lot of work ahead of you.
We do.
And I know you mentioned earlier, you know, going to the the Division of Motor Vehicles, and it's easy as just, you know, literally signing your donor card. But to become a donor, you can also log onto your network for Share NJ and donatelifenj.org, and it's that easy.
Yes. You can click on it says how to become a donor, and you click on and you can put your information in, and you can designate your wishes to be an organ donor. You don't have to go back to get it, you know, stand in line and get it changed on your driver's license. You can do it online, which is much easier, and that was just instituted recently.
And another fact that I saw online when I was just doing research for the show, it was that 1% of people who are organ donors will actually get to utilize that wish.
Yeah. It's a very, very unique opportunity. I think that when you ask the question, how many people do you think can be an organ donor? Approximately 35,000 people die in a hospital every year. And when you ask the question, even to medical staff, they think, 10,000 people can be an organ donor. And I just did a presentation yesterday and spoke to them and said, that would be wonderful if 10,000 people could be. But less than 1% of the people that actually die in the hospital die in a manner where they can be an organ donor. They have to die in a hospital, and they need to be on a ventilator to be an organ donor.
Is that so the organs obviously stay healthy, and
Correct.
So even if you sign your card, you may never get to use that?
Yes. So the goal of 50% is that we believe nationally, if there are people that 50% of the people say yes, that more people will know what the awareness is about donation, the importance of it, and that will impact how many people know about it, so that the word gets out, so that more people can give the gift of life.
Absolutely. We have to take a quick commercial break. We'll talk more with you when we come back. And up next, we'll introduce you to a young woman who was given a call nearly a decade ago that changed her life forever. We'll explain.
What do you want from the all-powerful Oz?
I want a brain.
People wonder how I got to be the all-knowing Wizard of Oz. And sure, smoke and mirrors help, but you gotta have the smarts to go with the show. I go to USA.gov, the official source for government info.
Pick up the student loan form to your right. Your other right. Next!
I need a heart.
Medicare, heart.
You're covered. Next!
I want to go back to Kansas.
Kansas?
Oh, that's a toughie. Back to USA.gov, passport applications, travel advisories. Uh-oh, looks like the perfect time to find that new government job.
For federal and state government information, there's no place like USA.gov.
Farewell!
Now available by mobile.
It's time for Inhaler Wrestling! Tonight's match, CFC Inhalers, the polluting inhalers of yesterday, take on CFC Free Inhalers! CFC Free Inhalers come out with a massive puffer puff, followed immediately by a flawless Inhaler Impaler!
These CFC Free Inhalers are the smart choice for asthma management, Jack. I mean, just look at their moves.
Ask your doctor about the new inhalers, and call or visit the American Lung Association online to learn more.
Across America, service learning is helping students improve their grades and their communities by connecting the classroom with community service. Working together, students solve real problems, build new skills, and apply their knowledge in a whole new way. Inside the classroom and out, service learning opens new doors and brings learning to life. Get your school involved. Visit learnandserve.gov to find out how.
Thanks for staying with us here on Eye on Ocean County. I'm Christina Seco. My next guest was given a second chance at life in 2002 thanks to the generosity of a stranger. Joining me now is kidney recipient Teresa